At this point, I would say AI is substantially more developed for text than it is for audio, and it's more developed for audio than it is for video. And the simple reason is the amounts of data are just very different, right? And so the things that you can do with a large language model, which is train a model that basically looks at an incomplete piece of text and guesses the next word, you cannot do the same thing with video. You cannot show it a bunch of frames and ask it guess the next frame. It just won't work, right? Because the next frame is a lot more than the next word. It's just a really complicated thing by itself. So I think as video catches up to text, then we'll have much better tools to work with that will allow us to filter it as well. Right now, the best we can do is basically pull the transcript from an audio or a video and try to evaluate the quality of the video based on the transcript. But that's obviously very limiting because maybe the transcript was okay, but the video was completely fake, right? and the tools to detect fake videos are also getting overwhelmed right now. So I'm sure that you've seen a lot of fake, like deep fakes in the news.
Yes, I have.
And the sad truth is that if you go by what the video itself shows you, it's an unsolvable problem. Right? The only way to solve this problem is to look at the metadata and try to basically do a chain of custody tracing like we do with fingerprints, right? Just like if I look at the gun and there's fingerprints on it, I cannot conclude that the person whose fingerprints are on the gun actually pulled the trigger, right? I can only conclude that if there is perfect chain of custody and I know that gun was found in the murder scene, nobody touched it, it was in this evidence bag, in this warehouse, here's the officer who signed for it, here's the person who took it out and carried it to the court, right? If I have that, I can trust the fingerprint. We're about to enter a world where video and audio has to be treated the same way, right? You can only trust it if you know everybody who touched it along the way and what they did with it, because otherwise AI is just so much better at faking things. And by the way, I don't know if you want to dive into the technicality of how, but basically all the typical errors that humans make when they try to fake a video, AI also makes, but AI is much faster. And so you can create two models, one that edits and another one that critiques and tries to find what all the errors are. And so you do an edit, it critiques, finds some errors, the editor fixes them. The critic again finds some errors, the editor fixes them. You do multiple iterations. This is called GAN, or General Adversarial Network, with these two nodes working in tandem. And what you get at the end is an edited video where a human just can't find any proof that it was edited by looking at it because it looks pretty pristine. The critic already found all the problems that a human could possibly find. So we're entering a world where you can't trust that video or audio are real. We're seeing a lot of examples of this. I mean, with audio specifically, this year there was an election in Pakistan, and I had an engineer there at the time. He got a call from Imran Khan himself telling him to boycott the election. Because clearly Imran Khan calls his own supporters on the day of the election, all of them, it's about 150 million, I presume, and tells them to boycott.
Please boycott the election.
Exactly. Now, my engineer is an engineer, so he thought, that's an interesting fake. Out of 150 million Pakistanis who got that call, how many do you think believed it? Probably quite a few. So these things are happening right now in every election cycle. I expect something to happen this November that will be of a similar magnitude, perhaps adapted to the American mind, because Americans have seen more deepfakes in the news. So probably we need more than a call from the candidate.
Right.
we need some video that proves something happened that really didn't, and then we'll find out that it didn't 2 days after the election or something like that. We're about to see something like this. I just don't know what yet.